Hey, how are you guys doing? All good? I'm glad. I'm TenchiJk. Nice to meet you. Yeah, you see how I changed up changed up the intro a little bit, just a little bit. No, I don't think I like it. It doesn't have the right flow. I hope you guys been well. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are happy and joyful, thankful, and all of the good fruits that we should have. You know. Today I had a very interesting and exceptionally joyful and thankful day, which is weird because today I started off very, I don't know, very negative, right? I started off so sad and just depressed and just, I felt kind of weak and I just lazying around. Today was my day off too, and I don't know, and I felt like today was just gonna be like a bad day, which is weird because I've been having such wonderful days until today. And I was just like, man, is this gonna be a bad day? But I got up somehow and I walked outside and I was like, I'm gonna just have an adventure, And I was so tired, but I just walked, and then I started to do something that I haven't done in a very long time. I started to talk with God. I mean, I pray along the way, but when I walk and talk with God, it's like one of the most peaceful experience of my life. And I just kind of bear out my soul and I bear out everything that's been going on in my mind, and I just tell everything to the Father. And as I was doing that, I started to feel this peace. And then I started to remember this prayer that I did last, I don't know, many months ago, where I started to feel very alone. Like, maybe some of you guys could relate to me. I have friends, but I can't break through their exterior. You know what I mean? It's always something on the outside, like what you do today. We're talking about some movie or some exterior thing. But what's very missing is that spiritual sense. What's going on in your spirit? What do you feel deep inside your soul? Like that kind of thing, right? And I've been missing that. And I used to kind of look up to God and just be like, am I the only one here? Am I the only one here that believes in you, God? Like, the whole world seems to be so bent up on believing themselves. They've abandoned you, Lord. Is there anybody else out there? I see people on YouTube, and that gives me hope. When I talk to you guys, and I see your little quotes online, or what have you, and it gives me a lot of inspiration. It gives me a lot of hope. But in my immediate life, I feel so empty. Where are all these people at? Where are all my brothers and sisters at? Who could I sit down and have fellowship with, right? And so I've been complaining to God for a very long time. And then I looked on the Bible and I saw this man, Elijah. And he had the same issue, right? He's been fighting all these people, these pagans, and he's been proving them wrong all these times, and he's saying to believe in God and all this kind of stuff. But he was flesh and bone, and so he tired. He was so exhausted, and he was just like, God, is there nobody else? Am I the only one doing this? And that's why Elijah was crying to God. And then what God told him at this mountain that he was at, when he told Elijah that, dude, there's 7,000 people that you don't know of in your area alone that has not bowed down to Baal or Baal, like the idol of the time. And that immediately hit my heart. I was just like, man, I'm kind of like Elijah. Not as great, not even close to his stature, but I'm a believer of God in Christ, and I felt that exact way. But when God assured me that there's people out there, there's people that haven't bowed down to the world system. There are people out there, and so have hope. And so I trusted in that word, and I just started to live my life. I just held on to it like a little boy holds on to his father. I don't really understand what that word means, but I trust in the character of God, right? I know that God wouldn't lie to me. And so I trust in his character. I have faith in his character. And then, I grabbed onto that word. And then time went on, and I started to actually randomly meet Christians along the way. Just random people that, just they have a little hint of Christianity in them. Whether it's their attitude or whether they have a cross on their necklace or just something that indicates to me that they're Christian. And I used to always keep my mouth shut. I was always afraid to open my mouth, lest they say, "Oh, I'm not Christian," or lest they just kind of look at me funny or what have you. But recently, God gave me this kind of boldness to just ask and to just kind of have fellowship with whoever I feel like. And if they're not Christian, then hey, let's just talk. Let's talk about the Spirit, what have you. And so I've been experiencing that, throughout my life. But today was very interesting because I was starting to feel that same way. I was starting to tire. I was starting to feel that loneliness again. Just like, I need fellowship. I need to have people who could, talk about God and have Christ as the center. I need this, right? And so I went out and I went to Chipotle. Had the most nastiest beef bowl of my life. This beef tasted like rocks, man. It was nasty. And I was like, I like people watching. I see all these people eating food, and I was eating my food, and it was gross. I really didn't like it at all. And then and then I started walking, and I went to Pete's Coffee. Had a little caramel, or is it caramel? Like caramel macchiato. I was drinking that by myself, feeling all. I don't know about you guys. Some people kind of get scared when they're, going out by themselves. I love it. I personally love it. I love exploring the world by myself. It's interesting because, first of all, there's that anxiety, right? You kind of feel stupid because everybody's looking at you. But at the same time, you start to build like a wall around that, and you say, you know what? I'm cool here. I could be myself. I could be collected, and I could enjoy my time with myself. And then I usually have my cell phone with the Bible, and I read the Bible a little bit, drink a little bit, try to act classy as possible. But, I'm not classy at all, so this is very, very stupid. But I enjoy it. So I went, drank some coffee, enjoyed my time, and I went, I guess my purpose was to go work out. I love to do pull-ups and dips and push-ups, and I like to get all yoked up. And so I was, on my way to the park so I could do some workout. And I was about to go to Vaughn's to get some water, but I found this like nutrition store. And I was just like, I don't feel like going in there because, to be honest, it looked a little pretentious. Like only like rich folks will go there and just like, oh yeah, let me have a shake of that. But I was like, you know what? How would it? So I went in, and they were so nice. They were so nice, and they were just like talking to me. It's like, oh, are you new here? Oh my God, you gotta try this and you gotta try that and da 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 da. And they gave me some orange sherbet or orange something. It tasted like orange popsicles, right? And it was good, It had a little protein and like and I was talking to this lady, and yeah, I mean it was tight. We were just talking about nutrition and all that. And then these two couples came in. I think they were Mexican, right? Now, I'm pretty good with the nationality. I could kind of spot people, not to be racist or anything. It's easy for me, I think. And they came in, and this dude, right? He was wearing blue. He had like a cross necklace on it, like a silver one, I think. And my first impression was like, oh, this dude looks kind of gangster, right? And I was just like, I don't know, but his wife was completely the opposite of him, like super nice, like just very chatty and talking to me and just kind of like so. I felt this like good vibe, just this energy, like this happy energy. I felt comfortable immediately. And so I figured, okay, that guy might be Christian, So I was like, what am I going to do? And so I asked, and lo and behold, they are Christian, and we had this wonderful fellowship. I started talking about my testimony. They kind of talk about their testimony, and apparently we listen to the same radio, this Christian station. We know the same pastors and all that, and I just had a blast. It was like God telling me, look, there are people out there, people that you don't even expect. And they sat right next to you, and you had this wonderful fellowship, and I was so ecstatic. I was just so happy, so thankful to God that He would answer my prayer and have them sit right across me, and it was just such a deep fellowship, and I felt so complete. And I said goodbye. I gave them my YouTube. Hopefully they see this. That'd be kind of cool. And afterwards, I went up to to the park. And on the way, I was just praying to God. I was so thankful. I was so thankful. It was like Southerner. What happened all of a sudden? I was so thankful to God because He answered my prayers. No, but I was just very grateful, and I was just like, who am I, right? That sounds a little pretentious, but it sounded better when I was praying by myself. I was like, what am I that you would lean your ears to listen to me? You know what I mean? Like, who am I that you listen to me and actually, like, help me in my life and all this kind of stuff? So I was very grateful and thankful. And on the way, I was smiling and just looking at everything, picking up leaves, crushing it and smelling it. This leaf smells different from this leaf, and that leaf smells different from that leaf. And I was doing the whole, super thankful mode David that I do. I get kind of weird when I get like that. And I finally went there, and I saw these two Mexican couples again. And I met them like once. I don't even know them, or I haven't even gotten close to them. But they were playing soccer. And this is another prayer that I've been asking God in my heart. I'm watching World Cup. That's a little guilty pleasure of mine. I love the World Cup. First of all, I'm really upset. Korea lost to Algeria. Like, what is that, 4-2? Man. I'm glad I missed the game, though. I missed the game. I was going to watch the game, but somehow I didn't have the right time, and I missed the game. And then I looked on my cell phone, I looked somewhere, and it was 0-4. You know what's messed up is, like, I watch my games from Univision, in Espanol, and so I watch it there. But then the strange thing was, in the picture, in the front page, it had like the Korean guys going like, yeah, like they scored. And so immediately I'm like, oh, dude, Korea is beating Algeria right now. Like, we're winning right now. But that was for the other game. I think it was like the Russia game. And when I saw the score and it was 0-4, and there was only like 30 minutes left, and I was just like, are you serious, Korea? Like, for real? You come all the way to the World Cup, right? You practice all this time, and you're gonna come here and just get 0-4 up on. I was so upset, I don't know, like, but then again, it made me think, and this is for all the other Asians to get a little bit offended. Y'all need to get your act together. You know what I mean? The whole world plays soccer. Like, where's Vietnam? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's Cambodia playing? Why isn't there a Thai soccer player right now? Like, where are all the Asians? I'm serious. Like, Korea and Japan, for reals? And they put in Austria, like, no, Australia. Like, we didn't have enough people on the Asia side, so they were just like, hey, Australia, you're on the Asian side. Come on, mate. We're not Asians. You know what I mean? It's like, and I mean, that was a little funny. And then Iran and yeah, it was just them, right? Iran, Korea, Japan, and Australia. I mean, Iran is close enough, right? Represent Iran. They're still doing okay, I think. But anyways, what was I going with this? Yeah, so the whole World Cup thing, I was kind of upset. But USA, surprisingly, USA is doing pretty good these days. I'm really, really excited for the whole USA thing. And it's good because I think USA really needs that, right? Because, like, we've been sort of dulled in our nationalism. Like, we don't care about the USA anymore. But that's the thing, the whole world is saying USA this, USA that. Man, screw that. USA is the best country in the world. Dude, I love this place. I love the people here. All the Americans are my brothers and sisters. I don't care if you're from the East or the West. We're all one country. The whole world is mad at us because they want our lands, man. This is you guys don't realize how amazing America is, okay? Think of it this way. America is the new world. You get what I'm saying? All these old European countries and all these other places, dude, they got so fed up with their country, fed up with all the stuff that they already did over there, that they all wanted to come to our country. And they did, they settled here. But I mean, this is a land, this is a new unexplored land like everybody wanted to be at. You know, people died to get here. People literally died in ships upon ships to get here, right? And just to be here, to be able to speak this language, man, this is a blessing. And we're losing that, and we keep listening to what other people got to say about our country. You know, they're saying, oh, America's did this, America's this, that. Man, look at your own histories. You know what I mean? You know how much bad thing every country has done in the life? You know, given, all right, our government system ain't doing so well. It's very nasty. I don't believe in the system. You know, it's all gonna be one world order anyways. But still, we're living in this beautiful country, you know, and I think and I believe that the American people need to believe that again. Needs to, get back together. Forget the whole white, black, Asian, all this kind of stuff. Forget all of that. We're one country. When other people attack us, it don't matter what color you are. You know what I'm saying? When the other people come attack, I'm not saying they will, but hey, you never know. Wars happen. And we kind of long overdue for World War III. You feel me? World War I and World War II happened already. All these different wars in between. There's bound to be a big war soon. And you know what's very scary? Let me add this. You know what's very scary to me? Is that the whole world, right, is already fighting with each other. It looks like we're at peace. But you go on YouTube, any kind of forum, any kind of, where anybody could talk anonymously, dude, there's war. People hate each other. People hate this country. People hate that country. They have so much opinions about this and this and that, and they really hate each other. And it's a sad reality of it. And another creepy thing is that everybody, well, not everybody, most people are playing video games. Now, a lot of people think video games is harmless, but don't fool yourself. Video games is like training for the mind. It teaches you things, right? For one, let's say you're playing RTS games, real-time strategy. That teaches people to become like an officer, to learn how to strategize, what works and what doesn't work, how much casualties is okay, and how do you boost morale. It teaches you things, you know what I'm saying? And when you're playing FPS games, like first-person shooter games, it teaches you what kind of guns to use. It teaches you what guns are good at close range, mid-range, far range. It teaches you how to flank people. It teaches how to throw grenades and flashbangs, what time exactly, and when to use your knife. It teaches you everything to be a good killer. Now, obviously, you need to actually be in the field and train to be good at it, but your mind has already picked up on these things. It becomes second nature. You already know. You hold this gun, and it might be weird to you at first, but it's good. You know how I know is that when I was young, right, I used to play Time Crisis. I love that game. Every time I go to the movies, like Regals, Edwards Cinemas, or what have you, every time I have like 30 minutes left, I'm over there with that red and blue gun, and just I used to be bomb at that game. I used to be so good at that game. People used to watch, and the machine guns. I used to do that too. What I noticed is that because I played that game, when I went into the Air Force and I held a real gun, it was like the same thing. It was like riding a bike. It was the same thing. I was boom, 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 boom. It was so easy. Now, so what I'm getting at is people are learning and training to kill one another, right? And I mean, Grand Theft Auto. Come on, let's get real. Things are getting more realistic. I mean, right now it's pretty realistic, but they're always advancing. And so, at what point does it become, like unethical, right? You're killing somebody that looks just like a person. I mean, that's doing something to your psyche. Don't fool yourself and think that's not affecting you in some way. Some people say, oh, I'm getting rid of my stress that way. No, you're reliving your fantasy of wanting to do this. You have the desire to kill somebody. Most people do. I think all people do. And you're just reliving that fantasy out there. But to self-justify, to make yourself feel like you're not a crazy, psychotic person, you have to say, no, this is, just to get rid of my stress, etc., etc. I mean, I'm not judging you. I love those games too. But I don't play it anymore because I know what it does to my psyche. It ruins me a little bit, right? And so anyways, there is bound to be a big war, right? It's bound to happen. Maybe in our lifetime, maybe in our kids' lifetime, what have you. And so, while we have this time of peace, or relative peace. Let's love one another. You know what I mean? The whole world hates one another, but let's love one another. Care for one another. Make some sacrifices for one another. You know? Understand some people. You know? Stop going with this self-imposed standard of beauty and judging people. Oh, you're ugly because you're like this. You're ugly because you don't fit the media's, depiction of beauty. Nah, that's all BS. This whole concept of beauty. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel for, my black women out there. I really do. This is kind of a weird, shameless plug, but I do. I feel you. And as an Asian man, I feel you on this because the media is harsh. Media is so harsh. It's very one-sided, right? And to live in a world where it's just, you know what I'm talking about, it's very dominant. And I know it does something to your psyche. And I know that it hurts. And I know that it makes life very difficult to live. Because I feel it in my own way. I know how it feels to just feel inadequate for no particular reason. That I'm always judged less than others because of what they perceive in the media. I mean, it's very simple once you get to understand why they do that. But I mean, it's just like if you keep seeing people in the media, people in movies, TV shows, and it's just like everybody that represents you is just the lesser version of you. Or people who are just a little bit better than you, but not enough. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, other people are Superman. They're breaking through walls and they're superheroes. And it's getting very lopsided. And so I'm not going to get too deep into the whole media, racism, discrimination kind of thing. But I feel you. But place your chips. Place your hopes and dreams and your faith and your strength. And find that in Jesus. Don't find it in people. Or people's opinions, because people change. People's opinions change, and you put your feelings towards them. Sometimes when they're good to you, you're happy, and you're just so happy to live life. But when they don't say that, all of a sudden it just breaks you down. That's how I was when I first started YouTube. I based all my happiness on what people said about me. When they said I was cute and hot and all this kind of stuff, I'm happy. I'm filled with confidence. But then when they don't, it's just like immediately destroyed. So I don't base my life on that. I base it on what God says about me. And what God says about me is that I'm forgiven, that I am worthy. I'm so worthy that God would send His only Son, only begotten Son, to die for me. He gave the whole world for me. That's enough for me. You see what I'm talking about? So put your faith in something big. Don't put your faith in something small, like yourself. You're small. You're so small. You put your faith in yourself. You trust in yourself. You believe in yourself. When you fail, it's over. And we're bound to fail. We're so flawed. But that's why put your faith in someone that will not fail. Someone who has power. Someone who has all power. And that is God. You see? Whoa. So let me get back to the point and I'll finish. So the whole World Cup thing, I wanted to play soccer. I wanted to, do that. But I don't have any friends that actually play soccer. They all play basketball and all that. But when I went there, I met those two Mexican couples, and they were playing soccer, back and forth. And they waved at me. They were just like, hey, come play with us, right? With the Mexican accent, They just came from Mexico. And they were just like, hey, come play with us. I was just like, really? I was just like playing. I don't even know how to kick well, but I was just dodging and I was, I'm messy, I'm messy, and I'm playing. I was just enjoying so much playing with them and just enjoying life. That's life, the simple things, right? Just being there, being out there in the park with this bright blue sky, and there's this little baby that's their baby walking back and forth, and she's just looking at me with her little cute face, and the mom and dad playing, and I felt like a kid again, and they felt like a kid. They were just goofing around, and I was so happy, And after that, I went to my pull-up bar place, and I was working out, and I see this dude super yoked out. He looks so buff, and he looks like a gangster. I think he's black. Yeah, I think he was black, I think he's a little mixed too. That's why I got kind of confused. And yeah, he was all thuggish, all like, And so at first I was a little bit intimidated, but I was like, hey man, you do this too? You do calisthenics? And I was just like, yeah man, yeah, this is what I do. I was like, oh sweet. And then he turns around and he has his backward cap on, and on the cap it has a cross on it, right? Like a metal cross. I'm like, this dude is Christian, probably, right? And on the side of his hat, it said Proverbs 8, right? And that's the book I've been reading a lot lately. Proverbs, the wisdom of Solomon, right? Or wisdom of God. And so I was so excited. I was like, wow, this is like God telling me something, right? So I was like, hey, mister, did you know? And he's like, what? Did you know that the beginning of wisdom, or the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom? I was just trying to be snide, and he was just like, yeah, homie. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, dog. And yeah, brother. He was just like so excited, And then we just started talking about this, and I found out he was in jail for 12 years, and he was about to get like life in prison, but God somehow helped him and he changed his life. He threw away his drugs, threw away his alcohol, threw away his infidelity, or all that. And he got a wife, beautiful kids, and he's about to get a $5 million lawsuit, back, and how he's about to go to the Philippines and help them out, and he has all these missions planned out, and I just stood there in awe. And him just telling me about his testimony of how he got there, how he was the least, expected person to change and to believe in God. Everybody thought that he was a lost cause. But God believed in him, and Jesus believed in him, and he places all his life in him. It is so crazy. And when I saw that, I was so inspired. I stood there like, wow, God, you're good. You know what I mean? You changed my life. You changed that man's life. And I stood there working out with this dude, and I felt like he was my real brother. Like he was my real brother. And he was teaching me things along the way. This dude was 49, but he looked like he was 30. Not even kidding. This dude looked 30, and he was 49 years old. And he was telling me all these wisdom and how to live life, how to find the right woman, what to expect in life, all this. And all I could think was, God, you're good. God, you're good. And I'm so happy that in my life, you have given me so much trials, so much tribulations, so much hardship, and taught me the truth, taught me the truth that in me, in my personal self, I am nothing before God. But then again, I'm everything before God. But that's because I threw away my own thoughts. I stopped having faith in myself. And to others, that might sound crazy because, the whole world teaches you, oh, you got to believe in yourself, trust in yourself. But no, but God says the opposite. Don't trust in yourself, trust in me, trust in God. And it took me a long time to understand that, but now I get it. When I trusted in God, He gave me everything. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. And it was so true. When I put God first, when I put His righteousness over my righteousness, when I ask Him for help, when I put my burdens to Him, I got everything in return. I got health, I got happiness, I got joy, I had peace, I had hope, and all the things that I ever wanted to do is just opening up for me. Whether I get there or not, it doesn't matter. My music, I love my music. I love drawing and I love the art. I love meeting people and talking with people. I love being a light to this dark world. And if anything, if you get anything out of this, is that I'm no different. I'm the most average person that you'll ever meet in your life. But what's very different in my life is that I placed my faith in something huge. I didn't place my faith in something small. And so in your life, if you're having anxiety, if you're having depression, if you're having some sad times in general, that's because you're placing all your all your feelings and all your chips on you. That's where it all comes down to. Just break it down. You're placing all your trust in yourself. And when you do that, you're going to always be anxious. But I think this is why God calls us to repent, to change our mind, change our attitude, align ourselves with God. Turn away from your own trusting in yourself, in your own thoughts, thinking that you're always right. Turn from that and place it where in front of God. Have everything God. Because what he does is that he takes your little stuff and he feeds multitude. You're giving God five loaves of bread and 2 fish. You see what I'm talking about? That's what you're giving to God. That's it. This is a small thing. God doesn't need that from you. God doesn't want to steal that from you. He's testing your faith. You give him everything you got, which is not a lot. And God will take that and he'll feed thousands with it. You see what I'm talking about? And so, my lovely people out there in the world, whether you're in Iran, whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're in Korea, Japan, Russia, whether you're in Austria, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in Hong Kong or all the different places in America, whether you're in Europe or Finland, all these beautiful places out there, God put you here for a reason. God has a destiny for you. God has never forgotten you. You've forgotten about God, but he has never forgotten about you. And he wants you to come into his kingdom. He wants you to bear his fruit, and he wants you to be his children. Stop listening to what the world says about God and find out whether what he says is true or not. And you'll find very clearly, deep inside your soul, deep inside your heart, no matter what the scientists say, no matter what all these intellectuals say, or all these people that say there is no God, you will know inside your heart that he is truly, truly your maker. And he loves you, and he loves you, and he loves you. And he has forgiven you. And so, repent and believe in God. Believe. That's what he asked us to do. Those 2 things. Repent and believe. That is our reasonable service, right? And the thing is, after you believe, you just keep God's laws because you love him, right? I'm not, I don't have to keep the law. I will suffer for it because whatever you sow, you will reap, right? I mean, if you lie all the time, you're gonna eventually, it's gonna bite you in the butt one day, right? But because you love God and what he has done for me, I'm just so grateful. And I know that his commandments are good for me. And I know that it's good for the world. And so I keep his commandments. I don't lie because I know that lies create more lies and it hurts people. I don't steal because that's not right. You see what I'm talking about? I just wait for God to give me. Get what I'm saying? And I don't want to dishonor my parents. Right? I don't want to have other gods before my God. I don't want to kill. I don't want to hate. And so when there's hate in my heart, I immediately repent to the Lord and I say, Lord, I don't want to hate that man. I want to forgive that man, etc., etc. And so that's our life. That's our given life. And so I want to leave you guys with that. I hope that this testimony could be an inspiration in your life. I hope you don't, find this too offensive to you. It's not it's not my hope for that. My computer died on me. Anyways, love you guys so much. Be well. Always be well. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.